but he didn't want to be trusted by this particular man. The thief stared down at him with deep-set, suspicious brown eyes.
"Remove your hood. Let me see your face in the light."
Torin did as he was bid, pushing back his hood and releasing a mop of chestnut curls shot through with streaks of gold. He wasn't afraid anyone would recognize him. Very few knew he was one of the Bruce's most lethal weapons.
"What kind of work?"
the thief asked when he was satisfied Torin wasn't someone he knew. Torin let his grin shine as he slipped his gaze to the soldiers.
"I saw their purses. They are fat. Their sharp swords and swift horses would be highly desired among the reivers."
The thief narrowed his eyes on the soldiers and then turned back to Torin.
"So, what is that to do with me?"
"You are a thief," Torin said boldly. "Are you not?" He held up his hand when the man reached for a knife in his belt. "Easy, brother. I'm a thief as well, but I canna take 3 of them down on my own." The man laughed at his proposal, just as Torin had suspected he would.
"There are 5 of us, Scot. What do we need you for?"
Torin blinked in surprise, as if he hadn't thought of that. "But 'twas I who told you about their heavy purses."
"You are a fool, but then most Scots are, and not a very good thief."
The man laughed until his gaze fell to a brooch clasped on Torin's lane, beneath his cloak.
"What is this?"
he asked, growing serious, and leaning forward to push the edge of the cloak aside.
"A bug?"
Torin's blood went cold. He dipped his chin and looked up from beneath his dark brows. "Take your hand away before I remove it for ye," he warned on a deadly whisper. The thief smiled at him.
"If you do anything to stop me, I will cry out to the guards that a filthy Scot sought to rob them, and I tried to stop you. My cousins will vouch for me."
Torin was going to kill him and all his cousins. He hadn't planned on killing thieves, but he was going to. First, he had to see this through first. He would not be distracted. It was too late to turn back. So he remained still while the thief took his brooch. It was a moth, expertly crafted in bronze. He had snatched it from his home while it burned, before he ran away. It was his mother's, though he didn't know for certain. He didn't fight for it now or chase the thief when the man slipped it into a pouch hanging from his belt and then walked away. Torin wouldn't throw away a perfect opportunity to get himself not only into the castle, but invited into it. He had a promise to keep to himself. His smile was cloaked in shadows as he pulled his hood back over his head and rose from the table to leave. He went to the stable and waited with his horse. It was going to be a long night. He was a wee bit less patient since losing his brooch, but he would wait. He turned his gaze to Carlisle Castle in the distance, where resided Alexander Bennet, Warden of the Western March, defender of Carlisle. King Robert the Bruce and his forces had attacked Carlisle 5 years ago, but had failed to take it. This time, they would not fail. This time they had him. He'd come to Robert shortly after the king's defeat in Carlisle, after he'd written to the Bruce, promising to hand him Till Castle, home of the governor of Etal. And then he'd done it. His prowess at infiltrating any military stronghold and delivering his enemies to the Scottish king, weakened and vulnerable, had earned him the name Shadow among the Bruce's forces. His skills included things he'd learned as a child while trying to survive alone, things such as lifting valuables from any pocket and all sorts of thievery. But his greatest skill was gaining trust and friendship from his enemies while planning their demise. He was in and out of their lives within weeks. He felt no shame or regret for the things he'd done, the people he'd killed. He wanted no reward, just revenge. Aye, Shadow was the right name for him, but Torin thought it was better fitting for his heart, for it was not completely black. There were glimpses of light shining along narrow paths, but most often he refused to take them. The light tempted him away from his purpose, and though he enjoyed what he could find in the light, he chose to stay in the shadows.